The Valar are the Powers of Arda who dwell in Aman as the shapers and rulers of the world. They were named by the Elves, and there are 14 in total, 7 lords and 7 queens. The lords of the Valar are Manwe, Olmo, Aule, Orome, Mondos, Lorien, and Tolkas, while the queens of the Valar are Varda, Yavanna, Nienna, Este, Vaire, Ivana, and Nessa. They entered after the creation of Arda in order to give some order to the world and as a response to the evils of Melkor. They each dwelt in Valinor. The Valar seldom came to Middle-earth but treated the Pelori with care and love. The mansions of Aule were in the midst of the realm where he had labored. He was the friend of the Noldor who were the most skilled of the elves. Manwe was the highest and holiest of the Valar, and he sat upon his throne in Taniquetil upon the borders of Aman. He was not jealous of his power, and his music was a song of words. He was appointed king as the vicegerent of Iluvatar. He dwelt with Varda, who was also named Elbereth, queen of the Valar and the maker of the stars. Olmo dwelt alone in the outer ocean, where he would govern the flowing and directions of waters, and the ebbing and courses of rivers and replenishment of springs, as well as the distilling of dews and rain in every land. And he was also known for his music. The Teleri learned much of Olmo, so his music will be filled with both sadness and enchantment. Yavanna was unwilling to forsake the outer lands, and mourned for the works that were marred by Melkor. Orome would tame beasts and sound the horn, while Aroma upon the plains of Arda. Each of them had their own region within Valinor that they altered to their desire. This was also related to what their gifts were. For example, Yavanna in the pastures of Yavanna in the south, Orome in the woods of Orome in the northeast of the pastures, Nienna in the lonely Vala of sorrow and endurance, Mondos in halls of Mondos, Ermo in the gardens of Lorien, Este in the middle isle in the lake of Lorelin in Lorien, Aule at the mansions of Aule the smith, Manwe and Varda at the mansions of Manwe and Varda, the west of which stood the 2 trees of Valinor. The Valar had power to endue things they designed with corporeal life, but they couldn't make things with independent minds. However, they didn't even make corporeal life, as it was done by Eru Iluvatar, though they have assisted in the general design of Ea and severally in different degrees and modes from Irma, or prime substance. The idea of life and growth came from Eru, but the Valar, under him, devised the shapes and forms of living things. When Eru gave being to this design, in general and particular, and it became Ea, unfolding in time, he set in motion life and growth, or those processes which would in time lead to this. But when he permitted the Valar to descend into time to carry out in Ea, or reality, the things they had designed in thought, then viewed in time they appeared to make things which were alive. Indeed, it is held that being themselves in time, they experienced the making as a new thing, differing in this experience little, save in degree of power and art, from the makers or artists. Among the incarnate, they couldn't create after the manner of Eru, but could only make things out of what already existed, the Irma or its later variations. Manwe had the greatest knowledge and was the most powerful. No lore or arts of any of the others were mysteries to him. He had less of a desire to make things of his own, and his desires ceased under the cares of the kingship of Arda. His greatest grief was the evil of Melkor, who would alter what he had made due to his desire for new and strange things. Melkor would also meddle with the works of the other Valar, as he wanted to do anything that was against Eru. He was impatient and overweening, believing his powers of mind were greater than they were. He assumed too quickly he had grasped the nature of a thing, but he learned no wisdom, charging his failures on the Valar or on Eru. The Valar remained in direct contact with Eru, much more so than the mortals and the Eldar. However, they were not to attempt to dominate the children even if they believed it would be beneficial, neither by force nor fear, nor pain, nor even by the awe and reverence that their wisdom and overwhelming majesty might inspire if fully revealed. Thus they developed a vana, or personal expressions of their individual natures and functions, out of love and reverence to the children of Iluvatar.